Mike, I'm Craig. I know we met informally, but I'm Craig Wheeler at Home Destination, and I've been involved with probably 60 to 80 different communities from 1993, and I'm super excited that you're here just because you're an expert on keeping something beautiful that is not something we can reproduce. A developer can't reproduce trees, and I don't know. I'm just excited that you're here because you make a major difference in a great project.
My name is Michael Bostic. I'm a consulting arborist for Delamar project, and I've been doing this for 35 years in the Tri-County area, and very pleased to be a part of this process. Chris has been very good about the trees, but also with the CAMA stuff, the coastal impacts that we're having, and taking care of the trees that have not been taken care of over the years. And there's been hurricane impacts and whatnot, and we've gone in, do everything we can to correct the trees and get them in as good a shape as we can. And once again, like I said, following up with fertilization programs and stuff to help set them off in the right direction.
Mike, one of the things that I thought is most unique about Delamar, really, then having done this 31 years, just looking at a lot of projects that are out there, the trend that I see is most developers are trying to get as many lots as they can on the property. And what suffers when you do that is you get real small home sites, and a lot of the trees, you lose them because they have to come down to build the houses. And I look at Delamar, and that's probably what I'm most excited about. And the best feedback we get from customers is just the ability to have these old trees and just trees that really add character to the homes and the property around it. And I'm just curious from your standpoint, I think the developer team's done a great job, but tell me about your interaction and what you've seen and where you think it makes a difference and where it's special for this project.
Oh, well, I found it very intriguing in the beginning when Chris reached out to me about working on this project way ahead of the curve, as I call it, where we were in here before any of the construction was going on and trying to protect the trees, and he valued the aesthetic as well as the value that it'll add to the neighborhood, and we've been going out in that direction from the beginning.
Yes, and I told you the story earlier. One of my first interactions, I was out here maybe 8 months ago, and I was talking with Chris, and I saw a guy going around with like a really small saw, and he was cutting off these little tiny branches, and it was so the tractors could clear and go underneath them without hitting the trees and damaging the trees. And I would guess, like when I think of beautiful homes, the homes are beautiful. But when you have these unique trees and you have these 200-300-year-old trees, and I don't know I'd love to know what you think how old some of these oaks are, but it just adds great character, and it's not a mistake that you're able to keep these things alive. And so what are some of the things you guys are doing to make that possible?
Well, we've gone in and hand pruned everything up to a certain level, and we're trying to minimize the impact on these trees. And when somebody comes in and buys a lot, we can customize the trees around the house that they choose to build. But Chris has also got us doing fertilization programs, root prunings, and all of that to help the health of these trees long term. There's a lot of trees in here that are anywhere from 100 to 200 years old, and it just adds a lot of character to the property.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I said earlier, I could see, like if I bought out here, I'd want you to help me. I want to know what I could do to keep these trees alive just because of the character it brings to them. And I'm curious, as you've worked with developers in the past, are there things that owners can do on their own property to help these trees continue to thrive and survive? Kind of the test of time. You say that if they're 100 years old or 200 years old, you want to live with the trees and not destroy them. And so I'm curious, are there things that the owners can do to help with that?
Yeah, reaching out ahead of construction in regards to the trees is great because the construction impact can be so huge. The tree buffers that are placed around trees sometimes are not sufficient enough to do what needs to be done to protect these trees. And I hope that we see and get a lot of calls from people in reference to working with them proactively instead of reactively, because unfortunately we do get called in to work with homeowners and it's a little too late. And it's like, I hate to break the news to you, but it's like the damage has already been done.
Yeah.
But
well, I guess my last thing is I look at it. I think if I were you, to me, it would just be awesome to see someone that cares. And I look at the development team, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of times where they're like, hey, I want you to help us keep the trees alive, but I want to put more homes in here than probably should be. And it's got to be exciting for you outside of all of this just to see a development team that actually wants to work kind of in harmony with the environment and improve it versus just scraping things down and getting as much as they can.
Yeah, it really impressed me working with Chris and the development team in regard. I've seen them drop lots in here to help save trees and go the extra mile doing borings under these trees to get all those structures in. The utilities in to help the tree's health long term.
Yeah, it's gotta be exciting.
It is. It's sure. Hey, it's. I mean, this is what I do all the time. I've been doing this for 35 years, and having developers that have this much passion about what they're producing and the quality of what they're producing is nice to see.
Yeah.
In this day and age.
All right, so hold on, I'm gonna back up a little bit. So you've been doing this 35 years. What's your background? For 35 years, you've done what?
I've been doing, I got interested in arboriculture early on, and I've been advancing that and going and helping educate myself and working with people that were older than me that had been in it a long time, and being able to implement some of those practices has been very rewarding. And there's a couple of developments in Wilmington that I did 32 years ago. To go back now and see the character that they have is just does my soul good. Yeah, to see it for sure.
That's actually awesome for me to hear, because I think great communities and great projects and great neighborhoods kind of stand the test of time. And to me, what makes them unique, look, there's a lot of communities with beautiful homes. There's a lot of communities on the water. That's not unique. But to me, when you ride through a neighborhood and you just see character beyond just beautiful homes, to me, there's just something special about them. I mean, I don't know if you feel the same way, but they stand out to me.
Yeah, I think that people, when you leave a subdivision like this one is going to be, you come in and go, the houses were beautiful, but man, did you see those trees? I mean, they just really added an extra elevated layer to everything.
Yeah, well, I appreciate all you're doing to help us make this place great and just keep all these things thriving and keeping it beautiful.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah.